His body twitches and pisses on itself until itself snaps and breaks. People standing around watching with fear and uncertainty because they see now people getting murdered and raped. And now fast forward. There's a lot of things going on in this world. Is it worth fighting for? It's kind of hard to tell. Especially nowadays when you can get shot 41 times by a cop as they ring out our death bell. And I'm not condoning what this next brother did, but they helped create people like Lavelle, mixing, fixing to pull that trigger. You will not kill me like I'm some other dumb nigga. So he opened up his mouth like he was ready to interrupt, and I told him that's the problem with the youth. You ask the question, sit there, listen, shut the fuck up. Yeah, I told him this is our world and we all have to live in it, but we have to put up with things like this. You can have 4 of them on videotape beat you down like you're filthy. That's right. And then they'll have an all-white jury and all 4 of them will be found not guilty. Or you can be a BART cop. You can be a BART cop, have your suspect down on his stomach, handcuffed, and then shot. Shot in the back, you see, and then they'll move the trial, and in a little while, the shooter, basically murderer, basically get off scot-free. See, do you want to go home or do you want to go to jail? What the hell is Denzel when we need that choice in our life? See, but this is not a training day. This is a training life. That's why I'm not worried about my personal plight, but we need to worry about our justly fight. And I'm not saying this to disrespect anyone, but this one right here is kind of cold. When a white female congresswoman gets shot in the head, now they want to talk about gun control. Where has this conversation been at for all these years while brothers and fathers and mothers and kids have been crying and dying in the hood for years, sharing each other's mournful tears? This is why I pick up the fight so the world can understand. And I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone, and I'm not from any part of rap group, but I went from a ghetto boy into an intelligent man, and this is why I pick up these signs and stand in these lines and tell this unfair system what the fuck is on my mind. See, never have I been one of those types wishing to do something when I could. I've always been one of those types who can say, I stood. So he looked at me and said, sir, you still haven't answered my question. I told him, close your mouth, open your ears, you might learn a lesson. Police brutality, political cover-ups, people winning presidential elections because their brother was the governor. And you're worried about the SLU or the ALU, or from my mouth to their ears, I simply said STFU. While you and yours get richer and richer like it's all good, and the poor gets poorer and poorer, pretty soon they will all be considered the wrong hood. Your gated communities and suburbs will soon be touched, and they all should. So you can sick your dogs on me, racial profiling makes me, but like a steel pole cemented into the concrete ground, I will stand gracefully. So I told him, when you forget who I am, just remember that I always did what I could. Because in the face of adversity, I stood. In the arms of tragedy, I stood. While the whole world seemed to laugh at me, I stood. While you plotted and planned Judas to backstab me, I stood. While the whole world spoke of me in blasphemy, I stood. Through that hurricane of dislike and hatred, I stood. Like that single tear running down Denzel's cheek in glory. Never breaking, never shaking, unwavering, never caving, I stood. So you may look at me like I'm a fool, but at 25, what the fuck did you do?